Okay, so we've spoken of avoidance, and that every time we avoid, we're just validating the paruresis. We're giving it reason to exist by going along with it. If someone said to me, hey Mike, I've read about paruresis and I know that there's workshops out there, I know what to do, but when it comes to actually doing it, I talk myself out of it. What would I say to a person in that place? Well, I'd say to be aware of the things that you're telling yourself. We've got used to this habit of avoidance. It's become common to us. It's habitual. It's what the body's, it's what we know. And when we attempt to break out of that, the body's not going to necessarily support us in our decision, because the brain can't predict what the outcome will be. It can predict what the outcome will be when we avoid it. That's known to us, and that's what is comfortable to us. But to step out of the unknown, it can't predict the outcome, and its job is to keep you safe. That's why it created the paruresis anyway. It created it to protect you from feelings of inadequacy, shame, terror, fear. So to break out of that, you're going to hear your mind come up with all kinds of excuses. So leading up to going to the party, you're going to hear yourself say, maybe I should make an excuse. Today's not a good day to face my paruresis, or today's not a good day to do some exposure work. But that's not you. It's in your dialogue. You hear it. You hear your voice say, nah, maybe today's not a good day. But that's just your body speaking. That's your body that has become accustomed to a certain level of brain chemistry. And it doesn't want you to make a different choice. It would rather you stick with what is known. If you know that beforehand and you're expecting that voice to show up, it's easier to catch yourself doing it. And moreover, if you're remaining focused on a future potential, on the potential of living your life free of shy bladder, if you remain focused on that, it's easier to notice when your mind's saying those things to yourself and just stick with the plan and push forwards. Now, it's threatening. It's threatening, I know. Doing this, I felt fear all the time, but I carried on in spite of the fear. And that's what courage is. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's just taking action in spite of the fear. It's okay to be afraid. And once you know that, you can keep going forwards without running back to your comfort zone. It's not being afraid that's the problem, actually. It's being afraid of being afraid. That's where we hold ourselves back. So anticipate that those excuses are going to come. Anticipate that that those voices are going to be there, but stick with the program. If you go back to the comfort zone, yeah, you'll feel relieved and you'll think, oh, I feel better now. But what we really mean when we say that is, I'm back to my old self. I'm back to the old programs, that old program in the brain. That's what we really mean by that. And now we know that if we do that, that if we do go back to the comfort zone, that we're just validating the paruresis. We're giving the paruresis reason to exist, and we want to start giving the body some new signals. So we're teaching it that when you realize that you need to urinate, we're teaching it that it doesn't have to react with threat, with a danger response. The only way to do that is to break the avoidance pattern. So when you hear those excuses, you know now that that's no longer you. Those are the voices of who you used to be. And the more you stick with this, the more you carry on pushing forwards in spite of the fear, eventually those voices will get quieter and quieter. They'll fall away, and suddenly you'll wonder what all the fuss was about. You'll wonder, how come I used to be afraid of this? Stick with it. Keep pushing forwards.